Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Francis Oyima, Edet, coming to you live from the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu arrives in Riyadh for Saudi Africa Summit. Federal government slams obese comment on supplementary budget. Plus, UN associations demand immediate humanitarian ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. We will bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin the news this afternoon with Nigeria's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who has arrived in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, for the Saudi Africa Summit scheduled to be held on Friday. At the Middle East nation, the Nigerian leader was received by ministers, members of the National Assembly, as well as other government functionaries at the airport. Tinubu will use the opportunity of the summit to underscore Nigeria's commitment to attracting more foreign direct investment and expanding business partnerships. According to the presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ngalale, the visit would strongly reinforce the administration's ongoing domestic economic reforms. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has approved the appointment of Mohamed Issa to serve as his senior special assistant on disability matters. A special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, disclosed the appointment at the State House, Abuja. Ngalale stated that the appointment follows Tinubu's determination to ensure that every segment of society is sufficiently catered to within the ambit of the renewed hope agenda of his administration. He noted that the president tasked the new appointee to proactively create avenues of opportunity for inclusion through the inculcation of PWD requirements and perspectives in the policies and programs of all ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government, while working closely with sub-national authorities to build a national consensus on PWD-friendly policy and environmental conditions in collaboration with the National Commission for Persons with Disability, NCPWD. In the meantime, the president has also appointed 20 Nigerians to serve as federal commissioners in the National Population Commission, NPC. 9 of the current commissioners were reappointed for second term in office, while 11 others were newly appointed. In a statement by his spokesman, Ajuri Ngalale, the president charged the new and returning NPC commissioners to successfully implement all measures taken by his administration to produce and effectively appropriate accurate population data with which lasting solutions to Nigeria's socio-political and economic challenges can be conclusively developed and executed. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has recently stopped the implementation of a hike in electricity tariff and insisted that subsidy be paid on power consumed nationwide. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, revealed this at a press briefing in Abuja. Adelabu stated that the federal government would investigate the legality of the 5-year license extension given to privatized power distribution and generation companies, stressing that the operating licenses of the firms would have expired on October 31, 2023. The minister further stated that the non-implementation was causing liquidity crisis in the sector, but stressed that the president had refused to allow a raise in electricity rate. He, however, pointed out that tariff would be increased at the appropriate time, which would be after sensitization and communication with the public, adding that there must also be an assured incremental and regular supply. Away from that, the federal government has slammed the comment of the Labour Party presidential candidate in the February 25 election, Peter Obi, on the recently signed supplementary budget. The federal government decried the comment of Obi that the supplementary budget was insensitive to the citizens, noting that it is a bold and pragmatic response to national pressing issues. Recall that Obi had on Wednesday, via a post on his X handle, lamented that the supplementary budget failed to capture urgent items of national welfare despite being signed by President Bola Tinubu at a late period of the year. The erstwhile Anambra State Governor branded the FG's act as uncaring and insensitive. However, in response to the claim, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has said that the budget signed into law on Wednesday by Tinubu was a reflection of the administration's bold and pragmatic response to the pressing and economic challenges Nigeria currently faces. In another development, the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu today in Abuja charged the leadership of the Armed Forces of Nigeria AFN to fasten their belts in meeting up with the security challenges in the country. The First Lady gave this advice in an address read by Nana Shatima at the Defense Headquarters one-day gender mainstreaming conference with the theme Building Capacity Through Gender Mainstreaming to Meet Security Challenges. Oluremi, commending the leadership of the AFN for organizing the program, also acknowledged that the event was timely given several security challenges facing the country. The First Lady further said that security challenges have become increasingly complex and multipath. She said it requires a collective effort to address security issues and advance gender mainstreaming. From the Green Chambers now, where the House of Representatives today mandated its Committee on HIV and AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria Control to carry out a baseline survey across 6 geopolitical zones of the country on fake anti-malaria drugs and report back to it within 4 weeks. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance brought before the lawmakers during plenary by the members representing Ohinowo, Ohinowood, and Arochukwu and Ohafia federal constituencies of Edo and Abia states, Bili, Osawuru, and Osonwa Ibe, respectively. Speaking on the significance of the bill titled Motion on the Urgent Need to Conduct a National Baseline Survey on Fake Anti-Malaria Medicines in Nigeria, Osawaru said the House was fully aware that in Nigeria there is an agency that is charged with the responsibility of regulating the production, importation and distribution of drugs called the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to engage the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS, in developing the nation's security measures and making it an integral part of the solution. The Green Chambers has also resolved to review the welfare of members of the armed forces and paramilitary organizations who risk their lives to keep the nation safe by improving their incentives. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion moved at the plenary by Abdus Samad Dasuki. Moving the motion, Dasuki said Nigeria faces numerous security challenges including insurgency, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, communal clashes, cybercrime, and general criminal activities affecting all regions and citizens' lives. He expressed worry that critical and urgent interventions, as indicated by the National Security Committee's summit findings, are essential to address the security issues, prevent further escalation of violence and instability in the region, and safeguard the lives and assets of the communities. Meanwhile, the Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, today presented the proposed 273 billion naira 2024 budget to the State House of Assembly. The proposed budget-tacked budget of recovery is made up of 108 billion 254 million 20,710 naira capital expenditure and 165 billion 654 million 976,700 naira as recurrent expenditure. Speaking at the official presentation of the document before the Speaker at the plenary, Governor Adeleke disclosed that the budget is aimed at rebuilding the state, which was battered before his ascension to office. Back here, the draft recurrent and capital estimates for the 2024 budget of the state government, with the policy thrust of supporting the execution of the Arise agenda, has been adopted by the Akwa Ibom state government. A state commissioner for information, Inyema Bong, who disclosed these while briefing newsmen shortly after the enlarged State Executive Council meeting, said for the 2024 draft budget estimate, which was presented by the State Commissioner for Finance, a total recurrent estimate is 352.7 billion naira, while capital estimate stands at 487.895 billion naira, bringing the total budget to 840.632 billion naira. On the Geographic Information System, ARCOKEYS, the Commissioner noted that the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on ICT, Frank Akpenyang, had also presented the software applications to be deployed in the execution of ARCOKEYS, payment of bursary, awards to undergraduates, and project monitoring and evaluation. He promised that the apps would help in the efficient administration of the various programs to which they will be applied, stressing that the governor therefore charged the SSA to ensure that technology is used to plug all loopholes of financial leakages within the governance system. Government House correspondent Jen Hua reports that the information buzz also announced that EXCO directed that the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs should strictly enforce the extant law of the State House of Assembly, which mandates all principal officers of local government areas to reside within the jurisdictions, adding that approval was given for emergency intervention at a Fianced village in a local government area to stop the erosion and reconstruct the destroyed portion of the road. We move now to Africa, where Kenya's government has imposed a charge for national identity cards in the country. Reports say Kenyans have been acquiring ID cards for free upon reaching 18, but new applicants now face a fee of 1,000 Kenyan shillings. The cost of replacing ID cards has also increased 20-fold to 2,000 shillings. According to reports, the new charges, which come amid a spiraling cost of living crisis, have ignited widespread outcry among Kenyans, especially on social media. Still in Africa, Libya International Criminal Court prosecutors updated the United Nations Security Council on the progress in human trafficking investigations. The prosecutor, Karim Khan, said his office has undertaken over 15 investigation missions and collected more than 4,000 items of evidence over the last 6 months. The update came 18 months after the implementation of a renewed strategic plan for the work of ICC in Libya. We move to the foreign scene, where the United Nations Association of the UNAUSA has emphasized the organization's commitment to the values and principles of the United Nations amid the conflict in the Middle East, demanding an immediate humanitarian ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. UNAUSA is a non-profit grassroots organization dedicated to promoting political and public support for the United Nations among Americans. The organization, in a statement to mark the 1-month anniversary of the killings of 1,400 Israelis by Hamas and the abduction of more than 200 hostages, called for their unconditional release. The group also demanded the immediate and unconditional release of civilians held hostage by Hamas and unimpeded humanitarian access to meet the urgent needs unfolding in Gaza. In addition, they demanded compliance with international humanitarian and human rights law, including principles of distinction and proportionality. According to the organization, an estimated 10,000 Palestinian civilians have been killed so far, with multiple reports indicating the majority of those killed have been women and children. In a related development, Iran has rejected a G7 statement which called on Tehran to stop supporting Hamas militants and taking actions that destabilize the Middle East. Tehran's comment came a day after foreign ministers from the G7 group of advanced economies meeting in Tokyo expressed support for humanitarian policies and corridors in the Israeli-Hamas war. According to Israeli officials, Israeli airstrikes have pounded a Palestinian territory of Gaza since Hamas gunmen stormed across the heavily militarized border on October 7 to kill more than 1,400 people, most of them civilians, and seized around 240 hostages. According to the Hamas-run health ministry, the subsequent Israeli bombing campaign in Gaza has killed more than 10,500 people, two-thirds of them women and children. Meanwhile, the G7 also called on Iran to refrain from providing support for Hamas and taking further actions that destabilize the Middle East, including support for Lebanese, Hezbollah, and other non-state actors. Still to come in the news, Falconets off to Dar es Salaam Friday for Tanzania clash. To stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the rest of our news stories. On a business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has disclosed that every banknote remains legal tender and should not be rejected by anyone. This is as the Apex Bank directed all its branches across the country to continue to issue different denominations of the old and redesigned banknotes in adequate quantities to deposit money banks. This disclosure was contained in a public statement issued by the Director of Corporate Communications of the CBN, Issa Abdul Mumin, in Abuja. Issa further advised members of the public to reduce the pressure on the use of physical cash and embrace alternative modes of payment. Still in business, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has revealed that the oil and gas sector in the country failed to attract foreign investment for the first time in Q2 of 2021 amid the global push for cleaner energy. The NBS, in its Nigeria Capital Importation Q2 report, stated that the federal government failed to convince IOCs to invest in the oil and gas sector between January and June. The report showed that the country had no foreign capital importation into the sector in the period under review. The report comes on the heels of various investment efforts by international oil companies into cleaner energies and to neighboring countries as a result of commitment to the United Nations agenda that seeks to cut emissions from fossil fuels to zero by 2050. In health, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pate, has said that the retrovirus disease claims the lives of more than 330 African children under the age of 5 every day, along with a significant burden on families and healthcare systems. Pate said these are the 14th African Retrovirus Symposium organized by the African Retrovirus Network in Abuja. Pate, who was represented by the Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, noted that nearly 250,000 children under the age of 5 succumb to retrovirus annually, and hundreds of thousands more are hospitalized. Reports say retrovirus is a leading cause of severe diarrhea in children, and its impact is devastating, leading to countless hospitalizations, misuse of antimicrobials, and, tragically, the loss of lives. Still in health, stakeholders at the ongoing 33rd Annual General Meeting and 17th Scientific Conference of the Nigerian Society of pharmacology have emphasized the crucial role of natural remedies products in promoting human health and reducing the burden of disease. The Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, represented by the Commissioner for Health, Jola Kintola, at the four-day event, stated that it was important to reconsider and appreciate the inherent benefits of natural products in the promotion of well-being and improving healthcare outcomes. The Commissioner further emphasized the need to strike a balance between preserving biodiversity and utilizing natural resources responsibly. To sport now, where Nigeria's Falconets will depart the country on Friday for the first leg of their 2024 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifying fixture against Tanzania. The players and their officials will travel in the afternoon from the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, via an Ethiopia airline. The encounter is billed for the Axem Sports Complex, Dar es Salaam, on Sunday. Reports say the reverse fixture will take place at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, a week later. Still in sports, Football Association has announced that the 2023 Women's FA Cup prize fund will be doubled to a total of £6 million. The winners of the final will receive £430,000, up from £100,000 in the 2022-2023 season. The FA's Director of Women's Football, Sue Campbell, said the funding increase was a positive step towards a long-term ambition of achieving equal prize money. We move to entertainment now, where popular media personality, video jockey and actor Oladotun Ojolape Kayode, popularly called Du Tudun, has lamented the growing trend of Nigerian artists and event organizers charging in foreign currency to perform in Nigeria. He said despite the artists and their genre being homegrown, they now place their booking fees in the United States dollar, including events in Nigeria. The reality star described the new development as quite strange and bizarre on his X handle. Still on entertainment news, former Big Brother Niger housemate Uriel has said she felt like she messed up her chances after her eviction from the recently concluded All-Stars edition of the show. Recall that Uriel competed in the 2017 season of Big Brother Niger and also the recently concluded All-Stars edition. She got evicted after just 3 weeks during her second opportunity on the reality show. Speaking today in a post on her Instagram page, Uriel disclosed how she felt after her second eviction. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You've been watching Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Francis Oyima, Adet. Many thanks for being there and do enjoy the rest of your evening.